So it's currently 12:20 a.m. and I really wish I had a girlfriend. Now, I wasn't feeling these feelings literally 6 hours ago. For some reason, when that nighttime hits, you do really start feeling these feelings. So what better way than to talk about it with you guys on the internet? Now, contrary to what I'm saying, I actually really like being single. Let me tell you about how good it is. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know. When you're single, you can literally do whatever you want. You have no one breathing up your back. You have no one asking you, what are you doing? Where are you going? 100% freedom. Unless you're young and you still got parents up your ass, then it's a good thing, bro. Be a good boy. But when you're an old uncle like me, who's 26 years old and single, you literally have all the freedom in the world to do whatever the fuck you want. And it's amazing. It is. It's a freeing feeling and it's lovely. There's no relationship drama. You're so at peace. Your time is completely yours. You can do whatever you want. You can game 5 hours and not even go on your phone to text someone back and then put it on you for not texting them back because you're gaming. You can go to the gym whenever you want. You can watch movies whenever you want. You can hang out with your friends whenever you want. You can stay out late as long as you want. You can work on your YouTube channel, talking about me, whenever you want. Nobody is asking where you are and nobody is mad because you took 3 hours to reply to their text. Sounds like amazing life, right? It's really not. Humans, men, we seek connection. As much as you would like to think otherwise, we seek connection. We love having that person to talk to every day. We love it. It's why we get into relationships. Besides people who get into it for the wrong reasons, I'm talking about for the right reasons. When you get into a relationship for the right reason, it's the best thing ever. It's so nice to have someone who's there for you, who cares about you, who loves you, who wants to see you do better, who supports you, who talks to you. And it's just that connection and your brain's filled with dopamine every time you talk to them. And it's nice, that security, that love, that care. And that all crashes down on me when 10 p.m. hits. And it's always at night where that feeling is amplified. And suddenly I'm thinking, maybe I actually do want a girlfriend. I would literally be so happy dandy throughout the day, wouldn't even be thinking about it. Actually, that's maybe a lie. I'd probably get like a couple of thoughts here and there, especially when I see other couples or when you get reminders on social media. But for the most part, it's okay, like you can go through the day, go through your routine, and just be okay with being single and do all the stuff that you want to do. But when the nighttime hits and it gets really quiet and you literally have no one to talk to, especially when you're in my case, where I used to have that person to talk to at night. We used to do a lot of like late night phone calls almost every single day for the 7 years we were together. And now that it's been like almost 3 years, that shift to quiet nights has been one of the hardest adjustments I've ever had to go through. And it's still a massive struggle for me. So, during the day, you're busy, you're distracted, and you're always like doing things. And then, the sudden shift of 10 p.m. hits, the grueling 10 p.m., the nighttime shift of pain and agony. No, I'm just kidding. But, it's not easy, especially when you're like chronically single like me. Literally have a dead ass phone, no woman, dry as shit, and the only notification I get is Gmail telling me my bill's due. That's the only shit I see. But 10 p.m., man, your brain starts doing what it does best. It goes, hey, 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 do you remember when you had someone? And then you just start thinking about everything that you used to have. You're thinking about like you wanting to tell someone about the day you just had. You want to like send someone random messages or thoughts to. You want to watch something with someone, especially at night. You want to, cuddle with them. And you want someone who's genuinely excited to hear from you. And it's more, not so you want a relationship. It's more so like, I want a companionship. And it's like, how convenient because when it's 10 p.m., it says nighttime stages, your brain, especially if you've been in a relationship like I have, your brain just automatically forgets all the bad things about relationships and only emphasizes on the good ones. My brain only remembers the highlight reel and it doesn't remember those horrible lowlights. Now, boys, honestly, I do start thinking and asking myself, am I just lonely or do I actually want a relationship? And if you're in my position, I want you guys to think that to yourself. Are you lonely or do you just want a relationship? This is an important distinction. There's times where you feel lonely, especially at night, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need a girlfriend or you just need someone to talk to. You've got to be careful of trying to fill that void with loneliness with any random relationship. And I'm sure you've heard about this from a million other people on YouTube that talk to you about dating and relationships. But it's actually because it's true. You can't feel loneliness with a person, especially after everything I've experienced. I've learned that you can miss someone without actually being ready for someone else. And I don't want to find someone just for the sake of not wanting to be alone. I want to find someone because it's genuine, because it's natural, it's nice, it's mature. That's the type of shit I'm looking for. And that's why I won't rush into anything. I know it's been a while, but on the small one or two opportunities I've ever had since my breakup, I've never rushed into anything, and I've always double checked everything and thought about everything and really asked myself questions as to why I feel this way. Why do I want to be in a relationship? And if it's for the right reasons, and when I feel like I'm mature enough, then maybe I'll start pursuing that. But for now, it's just not the time. I've been spending a lot of time alone, and especially recently, I've been doing stuff that actually scares me while being alone during the day. I spend a lot of time with myself, guys. It's not normal. I do have a lot of friends, but ultimately I do spend a lot of time with myself. And there's a massive difference, man, because you can spend an entire day alone and you can have an amazing time. You really can. But you can also feel surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. I've done a lot of stuff alone. I've gone to the gym. I go to the gym alone every day by myself. I know people who can't go gym without having their mates with them. I'm not one of those guys. Not to say that it's a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing because you guys motivate each other. But that's just the situation I've gotten used to. I also eat alone. I try new places alone. I've been going to the cinema alone. I've been spending more time on my own, working on this channel alone. No one else knows about this channel. No one I know knows about this channel. This is strictly between me, myself, and you guys who watch. And I love you guys so much. Appreciate you. Thank you for 25 subscribers. You just gotta learn to enjoy your own company, man, especially during the day. I used to think being alone was something I need to escape from. I need to fill that void with someone because that's what I've been doing when I was in my relationship. Here's some context for you guys. I have been in a relationship since high school days. And when you're in high school, you don't know who the fuck you are. Especially going from high school to your early 20s to your mid 20s, you don't know who you are. Even now, I don't know who I am. But I've learned so many things about myself in those 2 years that I've been alone than I ever did in those 7 years in a relationship. And that says a lot about me and that relationship and why I finally realized that there had to be a reason for it to end because I never knew who the fuck I was. And I've done more progress in figuring that out alone than I ever did in a relationship that just wasn't going to work out. Codependency is a real thing, and you guys need to please, like, if you are codependent with someone, you need to strip yourself away from that. It's just not healthy, man. It's just really not healthy. But that's a topic for another time. No, that's not to say relationships are all bad. I'm not shitting on relationships. The right relationship is the best thing. The best thing. I've seen a lot of people on the internet just say, being single was the best. Fuck being in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship. I call bullshit on that shit. Honest to God, I call bullshit. I've been single and I've been in a relationship. The good parts of being in a relationship, the highs of being in a relationship, are 10 times the highs of being alone. But the lows of being single are nowhere near as low as the lows of being in a relationship. And that is truth. And you can quote me on that shit. Because I'm telling you guys from experience that is absolutely the case. Because when you're single, right, it's so easy to imagine and say, and I've fallen victim to this as well, don't get me wrong. If I had someone, everything would be better. But what I'm doing is that my brain is comparing the worst parts of being single with literally the imaginary parts of being in a relationship. Like the imaginary best parts of being in a relationship. When your mind thinks of a relationship, especially when you're single, your brain doesn't imagine arguments. It doesn't imagine all the miscommunications you have. It doesn't mention that heavy feeling you have in your heart, especially when you sleep at night after a fight. You don't imagine the stress. You don't imagine losing your independence. You don't imagine even the possible nature, the possible idea of being hurt. You don't imagine that. And you don't imagine boring everyday stuff. You don't imagine that you are going to be with this person 24/7. And sometimes, yes, sometimes you will eventually get sick of that person. Not all the time, but sometimes, majority of the times, it happens. It's not to say that it's an excuse to break up, no. But it will happen in a relationship. You just gotta find ways around to fix that. But I ain't no relationship guru, bro. What your brain does start imagining is like all the good stuff, the date nights, the cuddling, the good morning texts, the someone waiting for you. The point is that I end up comparing my real life to a relationship that doesn't even exist. I'm fantasizing about all the good things about this relationship that doesn't even exist. It's not even real. It's not even tangible. I can't even grasp it. To my life now, which isn't so bad, but you can always be better, especially with a healthy, mature relationship. Now let's talk about social media. When you're at night, when it's 10 p.m. and you're on your phone, you're seeing these social media couples on Instagram, on TikTok, all these engagements, these wedding photos of people you knew in high school. And then you just scroll, you're like, fuck this, I'm getting off Instagram, let's go on TikTok. You just see some people doing relationship challenges, mukbangs together, pulling pranks on each other. During my really like low nights that I used to have, especially the lowest of lowest 10 p.m. nights, I literally binged this channel on YouTube where they're a couple and they prank each other. And I literally watched their first video all the way to their last video because I just wanted a sense of what it was like to be in a relationship after so many years of not being in one. Honestly, I still don't know what to make of that. If it's toxic or not, I'm not 100% sure. To watch that channel and that couple live happily while yours didn't work out is just kind of a fucked up thing to do. So I'm not sure if you guys can relate to this, but if anyone out there has done that shit, you're not alone, bro. You are not alone. However, going back to my point I made in another video about stalking the exes on social media, ultimately what you're seeing at 10 p.m., at 11 p.m. at night, when you're looking at all these Instagrams and TikToks, is just a curated version of these people's relationships. It's not real. You don't know the shit that goes on behind closed doors. You don't know what kind of perfect quote unquote relationships they got. This is all cap. Relationships are really hard. They are mentally draining. But with the right person, they're amazing. But there's always going to be tough times. So, what I'm trying to say to you boys is that if you're single, appreciate it and enjoy it. And try not to rush into anything just because you're lonely. Learn to enjoy being single. I'm not saying single is better than being in a relationship. Social media just makes it incredibly easy to feel like everyone has a relationship and you don't. When you know for sure in your head that that's not the case at all. When you sit there at 10 p.m. at night and it gets tough, just know that there are millions and millions, possibly billions of people who are going through the exact same thing you are going through. And you can count on me to be one of those people that are going through it with you. So you are not alone. But yes, I can acknowledge that I do want love eventually. Of course, I want a companionship. And yes, sometimes I really do wish I had someone, but you can't force it. You really can't. I'd rather be single for another 3, 4 years and find the right person later down the track who's going to be with me through thick and thin. You'd rather be alone than just enter something because you're scared to be alone. And for the longest time, I thought that my life was on hold because I'm single. So I had to just wait and do nothing with my life and just pause it and just stick in a mundane routine until another person arrives and then my life can start up again. But what you don't realize, especially myself, I've been a huge victim to this, and till this day I still am sometimes. I still do fall into this strange but demoralizing habit, is that I don't realize that my life is happening right now. My friends, my journeys, this YouTube channel journey, my hobbies that I do, and I watch footy games with my brother, do stuff like that. All of that stuff matters. Like when when the Odyssey and Spider-Man back to back came out, man, that was something I knew I had to appreciate because I gathered all the boys and it was such a good time. It was such a good time, man. Especially two great movies. And with Doomsday coming at the end of the year, man, it's gonna be the same thing. And those are the stuff you gotta find something to look forward to, especially when you're single. There's always stuff to look forward to. It's always going to be something, man, pushing you to keep going. And eventually, one day, you can find that right person to share it with because you don't want to spend 4 years in a toxic relationship, then restart again in those 4 years, having to heal all over again, then to wait those 4 or 5 years and God knows how long, and then find the right person and never have to go through heartbreak ever again. So I know it's been a long video, but yeah, being single is great until 10 p.m. But I'm starting to realize that maybe feeling lonely at 10 p.m. really doesn't mean like that there's something wrong with my life. Maybe I'm just lonely sometimes, especially at night. You know what, boys? Listen to me. That's okay. You don't immediately need to find someone to make that feeling disappear. Me personally, I can sit with it. I end up closing my phone eventually, and I do go to sleep. And tomorrow in the morning, I'll probably wake up and be completely fine again. But I still want to find someone someday. But I'm not going to spend my life waiting for that person to arrive. I've got a life to live in the meantime. And ladies and gentlemen, so do you. Because when 10 p.m. hits, close that phone. Watch a movie, relax, and go to sleep.